I went out and rented a rototiller, thinking it was a small machine about knee-high. Instead, they rolled out a giant 7-foot monster with a roaring engine. For years, America believed Michael Landon was the perfect family man, a gentle father, a symbol of faith, warmth, and love. But behind that famous smile was a completely different life. Nights when he disappeared from home, strange packages arriving at the Malibu mansion, hidden photos, and parties filled with cigarette smoke and unfamiliar faces. After nearly 40 years of silence, his son, Michael Landon Jr., finally told everything. In the interview that made Hollywood freeze, he said one sentence that stunned everyone. They praised my father for his kindness, but it was deceit that kept him alive his whole life. That single line opened the door to a darker truth, the part of Michael Landon the cameras never captured. Michael Jr. went back to the years 1978 to 1983, where the real story began and America's perfect father revealed who he truly was. My father never loved my mother, Michael Jr. said slowly, because he never really loved any woman at all. His voice dropped, and the room went silent. The yellow lights reflected on his face, tired but relieved, like someone finally letting go of a secret that had poisoned him for decades. He wasn't just a cheating husband, he was a man who had to betray himself every day just to survive. He remembered the Beverly Hills home people called the happiest house in America. It was always bright but never warm. Family photos lined the walls, slightly crooked, as if no one cared enough to straighten them. That house was always cold, he said. Even when his mother cooked Landon's favorite meal, steak with mashed potatoes, he never sat with them. Michael Jr. remembered his 10th birthday in 1980. The cake was untouched. Candles melted down, and his father still hadn't come home. Near midnight, Landon finally walked in, smelling of unfamiliar cologne. He patted his son's shoulder, said "Happy birthday, champ," and went upstairs. No gift, no hug. Back then, Michael Jr. thought his father was just tired. Later, he realized his father's body might have been in that house, but his heart was somewhere else entirely. While the public worshipped him as America's dad on magazine covers, whispers started spreading at NBC. Landon had become unusually close to Eli Rosen, a young photographer on the Little House set. Eli wasn't just his photographer, a lighting technician said, he was his shadow. Then came the incident that lit up the studios. In 1979, while filming in Utah, the two men were seen leaving their hotel early in the morning wearing matching bathrobes. A hotel worker said they walked out like people who had spent the whole night together. NBC scrambled to bury the story. Days later, Landon suddenly appeared with someone new, an 18-year-old makeup artist named Cindy Clarica. Variety printed their photo the next day, calling her Michael Landon's new love. Everyone inside Hollywood understood it was a cover, but the public believed it because believing was easier. My father knew how to perform, even off camera, Michael Jr. said. He kissed Cindy like a man trying to prove something, not like someone in love. When Cindy became pregnant in 1982, Michael Jr. briefly hoped things would improve. His father came home earlier, smiled a little more. Maybe he was finally becoming a real father again. But that hope didn't last. One night, Michael Jr. came home early and heard his father whispering into the phone, "Don't call again. We can't keep doing this." He didn't hear the name, but he knew it wasn't Cindy. Weeks later, Landon announced his engagement. The wedding was rushed, held on Valentine's Day 1983 on a Malibu beach. Only select journalists attended. The next morning, the papers announced America's favorite dad had found love again. But in Michael Jr.'s diary, written in shaky handwriting, he recorded only one line. He didn't marry for love. He married out of fear. Fear of what the truth would do to him. Fear of an image cracking under the weight of reality. After the wedding, everything grew worse. At work, Landon lit up the room when Cindy walked in. At home, he barely spoke. No dinners, no Christmases, no birthdays. No birthdays. One Christmas, Michael Jr. made a handmade card. Landon left it unopened on the table and drove off. Michael watched his father's headlights fade and realized they had nothing left to say to each other. NBC framed the marriage as a redemption story, but rumors grew. Crew members talked about Landon sitting in makeup rooms for hours, staring blankly at himself. When Cindy called, he smiled, but the smile never reached his eyes. As Michael Jr. grew older, he began to understand the truth. My father lived in a time when a man like him couldn't be himself. He chose hiding over honesty. And in the end, he lost everything, including us. Years later, when his mother Lynn died, Michael found a letter she had written but never sent. In her delicate handwriting, she wrote, "You married that girl to protect your image, not your heart." She had known the truth all along. She simply chose silence. Now, at 60, Michael Jr. says he no longer feels anger, only pity. Sometimes, he rewatches Little House and sees the smile everyone loved. Beautiful, but strangely sad. "I once thought he was the strongest man in the world," he said. "But maybe he was just the loneliest." He looked into the camera and said softly, "I'm not telling this to destroy him. I'm telling it So people understand that behind Hollywood's perfection, there is often someone quietly falling apart. Then he whispered, he ran from himself all his life, but in the end, the truth still found him. And that was only the beginning, because what came next was even darker. The secret, Michael Jr. stayed silent about for 40 years. The truth that shattered the myth of America's perfect father.